You know, in the United States, they're doing the opposite. They're locking the safe in the bank. The DOGE, that's the Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk and his tech bros, are going through all the spending in the United States. I mean, amazing little anecdotes, like they're paying people Social Security who are allegedly 200 years old. They're still getting paid. Or there's more people getting Social Security than there are human beings in America. Like, it's just astonishing statistics. But they're shutting down waste. In fact, they're shutting down entire departments and agencies sometimes, including one called USAID, which was a kind of foreign aid. And as American taxpayers are being relieved of tens or hundreds of billions of dollars, not just in obligations, but in many cases fraud and abuse and outright theft, well, Canada, Justin Trudeau's cronies are raiding the bank even in their last hours. Look at this story. This is the Global News version. Canada gives $272 million in aid to Bangladesh. Indo-Pacific as USAID shuttered. So to get that, Elon Musk is saving Americans billions of dollars, and Trudeau, and in this case Ahmed Hassan, are saying, no, Bangladesh, that's very important to us. We're big shots. We're only in power a few more days. Let's just take the money. Who's going to stop us? The media, Parliament, they're still dissolved. Who's going to stop us? Let's steal $250 million. Let me read the story. Canada's Minister of International Development, Ahmed Hassan, unveiled $272.1 million, I love that .1, in new funding on Sunday for foreign aid projects in Bangladesh and the Indo-Pacific region. Quote, Canada continues to fiercely strengthen our long-lasting friendship with Bangladesh. Oh, really? And the wider Indo-Pacific region with our long-standing people-to-people ties, Hassan said in a statement, by supporting vulnerable communities, healthcare services, empowering women, and addressing climate change. Okay, so you're just burning them. Well, why don't you just take a bale of hundreds and throw it in the bonfire? We are creating a brighter tomorrow for the global community. How about the community of Canadian taxpayers? And this was announced as a counterpoint to the United States. Quote, the money to be spent alongside contributions from other foreign partners and donors will provide new funding for 14 different projects in Bangladesh and other countries in the Indo-Pacific region. The federal Liberal government's move highlights a dramatically different Canadian approach to foreign development assistance compared to American Republican President Donald Trump's government, which halted funding through the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. So they're buying nurses in Bangladesh, not that we need nurses in Canada. Yeah. Let me quote from the press release. One project, or this is from Global News, one project was described as empowering women in the nursing sector. It includes a $6.3 million funding boost over 3 years to Canadian company Cowater International, the government stated. So more than $250 million we will never see again. As they say, foreign aid is taken from the poor people in one country to give to the rich people in another country. They're taking the money from Canadians to give to cronies and schemers and consultants in Bangladesh. Outrageous. But look at this. This is from Omar Al-Gabra. That's the Islamist extremist who basically was the co-chair, effectively, of Justin Trudeau's campaign back 10 years ago. I knew him before he was an MP. He was the head of the Canadian Arab Federation. He wanted to legalize Hamas and Hezbollah terrorist groups in Canada. But really, there's no need, is there? I mean, they're already de facto legal, aren't they? Here's two Toronto police doing a Toronto police podcast about how the October 7th massacre of Jews actually has a silver lining, guys.
It's funny you say this because, through social media, a lot of people after October 7th started learning about Islam.
They did, yeah.
And they said, okay, well, what is it with the religion that why is it so hated? Yeah. You know what I mean? Why are they being attacked all the time? So people say, you know what, let me learn about Islam. And there have been a lot of reverts through this whole process. I couldn't imagine, like, I guess when you're on social media, most of the feeds come through you. Once you see one, it just keeps coming. But the amount of people that are reverting to Islam is unbelievable, and they're just I guess through education, right? They're actually educating themselves and saying, what is it that Muslims are being targeted? and why are they being targeted? Let me learn about this religion. What are these accusations that they're saying about Islam? And let me learn about it myself and figure out, hey, is it actually true or not?
Yeah, and those same police said that you shouldn't criticize pro-Hamas protesters because that's Islamophobic. Did you see that video too?
And that is something that we celebrate in Canada, the freedom of speech. However, when we have somebody labeling a certain group as something they're not, all of a sudden now it becomes, and there's an Islamophobic undertone, if someone is calling a Palestinian rally a Hamas rally, then all of a sudden people start getting afraid. And they think, oh, wow, these are people that support an entity that's been labeled as a terrorist organization. However, the people that are there protesting, they're there for a different cause altogether. So then that becomes active discrimination when you classify an entire group with a group that they don't even identify with. So that's the challenge.
And it creates fear, right? It creates fear within different communities.
Confusion, fear. And it creates a divide.
Yeah, so no need to legalize Hamas. It's sort of been legalized already. So anyways, Omar Al-Ghabra is back in the news because Trudeau appointed him to be Canada's point man towards Syria. And of course, Syria is now under now that they've displaced Bashar Assad, he's being replaced with an Islamic terrorist. And in the final hours of Trudeau's rule, Omar Al-Ghabra shoveled them some money. Let me read. Well, before I do that, let me show you. Let me prove to you how horrific the new Syrian terrorist leader is. Take a look at the ethnic cleansing. They're specifically targeting Christians, by the way. Take a look. Super gross. Here, let me read Omar Al-Ghabra's tweet. Today, the government of Canada announced several key measures to help the Syrian people build a stable country that respects all of its citizens. $84 million in humanitarian aid, easing economic sanctions, restoring diplomatic relations. Hang on. They're massacring Christians and Alawites, which is another ethnicity, and Druze, which is another. They're massacring them. I think they killed over 1,000 Christians. And you're easing sanctions, and you're renewing diplomatic relations, and you're shoveling them nearly $100 million. They're robbing the bank in their final hours. But Mark Carney's the same. Here's his first tweet on foreign affairs. It has been more than 2 days that the supply of electricity to Gaza has been cut off. It must resume. Essentials, including food, electricity, and medical supplies, should never be used as political tools, unless you're Doug Ford. Canada must work with our allies to stand up for international law, to promote sustainable peace and security in the Middle East, and to support full access to humanitarian aid for Palestinian families. As this work continues, both parties must work towards the return of all hostages and the completion of the ceasefire agreement. There is no terrorist group that these people won't support. Welcome to Mark Carney's Canada. The same as Trudeau's Canada, but worse.